Hello, everyone. This is 8-Bit Shinobi, and we're doing an X-Men theme tonight. We got Tom, who's going to be talking about his X-Men event here in Ottawa, Ontario. We got your friendly neighborhood Tyler Man, who is going to be talking about his X-Men parody, The Undateable X-Men. That's going to be an audio book. It's going to be on YouTube. He's going to tell us all about it. So Tom, if you want to tell us a bit about your organization, what gave you the idea for the X-Men event?
Absolutely. So yeah, my name's Tom. I work for a place called OCR Academy in Ottawa. And it's sort of like a superhero training gym. So we have a lot of Spartan racers and ninja warriors and all kinds of crazy people. We've got, superhero masks on the wall. We've got some superhero artwork. So it's sort of like a place for people to train like superheroes. And we do lots of kid stuff. So I was a big Marvel fan in the 90s. I remember X-Men being the show, the franchise before MCU, before Avengers or anything. It was really, really awesome. So I thought we could screen the finale of X-Men 97 at our gym. We could bring in some vendors, bring in some guests, and it would just be a good time, a laid back time. But yeah, I love the X-Men. I feel like they're just a better franchise than the Avengers overall, but I'm sure we'll get into the bias of all that. And but yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited.
Like I said, I liked X-Men and Avengers before it was cool.
Yeah.
Like I remember all the shows. I watched the X-Men, I watched the Spider-Man, I watched the Avengers series. Did you get a chance to meet Stan Lee before he passed?
No, I never did. No.
Oh, he was a really great guy. Like I was at the meet and greet, and they said he wasn't signing or taking pictures, but he did. And I was like the last one. Me and a couple guys were the last people, and the line got cut off. So Stan said, "No, I want to meet with those guys." So we met with him after the show, and we got to hang out with him after the show, say hi. So yeah, I'm also going to be taking part in the X-Men event. We got a lot of cool things. Like I have this thing called X-Men Munchkins. If anyone's ever played it, it's like a simpler version of Dungeons and Dragons, but it's X-Men. So you can either help your teammates win the game, or you can backstab them. Or you can do a little bit of both, because every time you beat a guy, you go up a level. But if he's too strong, you need to ask for help. So you can make the guy stronger and say, well, I'll help you if you give me part of the reward. So kind of like strategy over there. So you got, I also have the Marvel one. So with the Marvel ones, you got shield agents, generic shield agents. And for the X-Men one, you have like generic X-Men, and then you have like the villain cards. Then you have like power-up cards, and then you have like the team affiliates like X-Men and X-Force. We also got retro consoles. This has like over 1,000 different games on it. And I like this better than the one that they have on market, because like if you want to switch games, you have to like power it up. But we programmed it so you just hit 2 buttons, it takes you out, and you could play another game if you want. And you can also do the save states and stuff, so you can always go back and replay from where you left off. Is there anything
awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
You
Is there anything you wanted to add about things that you're also gonna have at the event? I know you're telling me you had like some arcades and pinballs and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm not sure what we're going to have for the arcade situation, but we are going to have a superhero workout ready to go. We're also partnered with the Ottawa Dads Group. So if you're a dad in town, if you got kids, if you want your, it's a 6,000 foot obstacle warehouse. So like there's rings and bars and like obstacle walls and rock walls. So it's a really cool place to train. Like lime green warehouse. So you figure out
I think you're cutting off there a bit.
magic. You could do you got toys, you got a Weapon X, squeeze his legs. Is awesome. Am I okay? Can you hear me now?
You're cutting. I can hear you a bit better. Do you want to repeat that?
Or 8-bit, or can you hear me? You can't hear me.
You're cutting off a bit. Can you? Do you want to try going in and out?
Can you
Maybe
guys
that.
Hear me or no? Not really.
No, you're cutting off a bit. Oh, I hate when these things do this.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to turn my camera off while I'm talking.
All right. So Tyler, who's your favorite X-Men?
Ooh, that's tricky. I do like Wolverine, but at the same time, I do feel like he's overused. I feel like Cyclops is definitely a one-trick pony. So I think I'm going to have to say either Nightcrawler or Storm.
My favorite would have to be Wolverine, the Canadian guy from Canada. Hi, are you there? Oh. Tom?
Bueller?
Hello?
Hey guys, can you hear me or not really?
We can hear you a bit better.
I'm talking.
Yeah, this happens from time to time.
Turn my camera.
Sorry about this, everyone.
Are you?
I can't hear you. Yeah. Anyways, my favorite X-Men is Wolverine. I also like Cable. I know he's not really an X-Men, but I always thought it was
kind of a cop-out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got X-Men blood in him, but I don't think he officially joined.
Yeah, true. I would also have to say Storm. Storm, especially when in the animated series when Storm and Wolverine were a thing.
That was an interesting pairing. I know it worked canonically in the comics, but it's just not one you see often enough.
Yeah, I saw this really funny internet meme about X-Men is that Wolverine and Emma Frost are the two mutants that have slept with everyone.
I'm pretty sure Mystique's pretty much slept with a lot more people.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at the kid she has. She's Nightcrawler's dad. Spoilers in the comics, by the way.
Yeah.
She's Graydon's mom.
Mm-hmm.
She is Sabretooth. She's Rogue's adoptive mom.
Mm-hmm.
She's got like two other kids somewhere. I'm trying to figure out their names. But Wolverine definitely has a lot of them.
Yeah,
Granted, a clone.
yeah.
At least a couple of them are clones. So I'm not sure if they entirely count. They count, but they're not his seed.
Well, since I don't think Tom's going to be coming back anytime soon, do you want to talk about your project since we're here? So, Tyler, why don't you tell us a little bit about your series and what got you into to writing and stuff?
I did do an episode about this a while back, but since I'm here anyway, in short, I was part of a group called the Slab Lounge, and we talked about the idea about doing an X-Men series, but I guess I was a little more passionate about the project than they were. We never really saw eye to eye, and I left the group. And then I just went my own direction with it. So as of now, I'm just waiting on a few more people to send me their lines.
Mm-hmm.
I also have over 50 some odd people working on this thing, including songwriters, editors, animators, voiceovers, legal consultants for various reasons.
Yeah, yeah. You think they'd make this easier?
Well, legal consultants, I do have a couple of legal-based episodes.
Yeah.
Like 2 of them, actually. One of them is Wolverine versus the Hulk, but it's not what you think. It's more of a court-based episode. Where Wolverine is suing strike that, Hulk is suing Wolverine for property damage for all the damage that they caused over the years.
Oh, that's fun.
And the second episode is 12 Angry Mutants, where Cyclops is trying to convince all of Wolverine's enemies that Wolverine is innocent. It's basically a parody of 12 Angry Men if you haven't seen it.
Oh, hey, we have someone here. Do you have a question for our guests? I was hoping we'd get more people on, but you take what you can get, right?
No worries. But yeah, so far, the first season has 13 episodes. The first episode is basically the pilot episode, where our six of our characters, Cyclops, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Gambit, and Jubilee, go out and get sandwich and comic books. That's the pilot episode, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And the finale is Mojo's audition, where he's trying to find replacements for a long shot. Who, well, you know Mojo's people skills.
Yeah.
So that's the finale there. And I'm currently working on the script. I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say I'm brooding it over.
All right.
But yes, I do have over 50 people involved in this series. What you call it? It's a nonprofit thing, so for legal reasons, none of them are paid, but a lot of them are upcoming voice actors, and they're very passionate about this project. Or at least
that's cool.
A lot of them are passionate about this project, I should say.
So you said it's going to be available on YouTube at first?
At first, yes, because our animator, Sydney, did take the time to animate this, and I want to give her the recognition she deserves by allowing us to play the intro and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, when we get the first season or 2 out there, we're going to start switching it to the Audibles, your Spotify's, and wherever your basic platforms are kept for podcast and podcast-like series.
Cool. So Do you know? Do you have an idea of when you're going to be launched, or you just have a guesstimate?
Well, at this point, it's a guesstimate. I just got the lines for our Iceman and Forge, who is the same guy, by the way. Our Sentinel. Um, I'm expecting our Angel's voice to be this weekend, and the only two that are left are our Storm and our Rogue. And then
Oh,
once I
nice.
get all those voices, I then send it to my editor. They compose it into one thing, and then we have an episode.
Oh, that's cool. So I also noticed that you have a channel. Why don't you tell me a bit about your channel and what you do there?
Yeah, it's this was a while back. It's called the Sandwich Sultan, but it's for my podcast, Geek Talk with Tyler. I also have it on Spotify. Basically, I talk geeky or technically nerdy, depending on what side of the spectrum you want to fall on.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about things like comics, anime, manga. I just recently did an episode about how anime and manga's unfinished endings can affect their fandom with my good friend AC.
Oh, I got my Vegeta shirt on.
Yeah, except Toyotaro is continuing that series. So naturally, as an example, I meant more like something like Berserk,
Yeah.
High School of the Dead, or Hunter x Hunter. But yes,
Have you ever watched Tenjo Tenge? I remember that one never finished either, but the
heard
manga.
of it. Can't say I've seen it. There's a lot of stuff I'm really trying to catch up on right now. But I've been doing a lot of research for the X-Men, comic books, TV shows, movies, internet, speaking to other geeks about what their knowledge about the X-Men, many of whom are on the team already.
Oh, that's cool.
So that just makes that whole process a lot easier.
I also like to joke around that I kind of have my own mutation. I was born with extra teeth.
Huh.
Yeah, and can you believe it? They charged extra to pull out extra teeth when they pulled out my wisdom teeth.
Huh.
Right? Yeah.
Interesting. But no, yeah, that's essentially what the channel is about. I did have some interesting guests like Greg Wiseman, the creator of Gargoyles, hashtag Cubage and Gargoyles.
Oh, nice.
Ken Weiselman, the creator of Thomas the Tank Engine and Teletubbies.
Oh, cool.
Warren Davis, the creator of Qbert, and several others.
Yeah, I have some pretty interesting guests on, and I'm supposed to interview a doctor that's doing a book about psychology. I'm like, I want to make the joke that Sheldon Cooper made. Ever noticed how all the supervillains have doctorates?
Well, there's Dr. Fate,
Yeah.
Dr. Strange. And Hank McCoy does have 6 PhDs. So not all of them.
Yeah, true. I just thought it was a funny comment.
He's smart. Here's my feeling on the Big Bang Theory. I don't really feel like they represented geek culture accurately. And I can tell you why. For starters, you remember the episode where Sheldon and Amy got married?
I'm not there yet.
How far are you?
The one where Sheldon was about to propose when Amy left it, and he says, "Well, what am I going to do with this ring?"
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you that far, but there's a bit where freaking Leonard and Sheldon were fighting, and they're saying like, how come his favorite Hobbit is Frodo? I want that to be my favorite Hobbit. I'm like, have you not read the book or seen the movie? Sam was the real hero of the story. If you're a true Lord of the Rings fan, like you claim to be, you would know that. So that's just one example.
Yeah, especially since I don't know if it was in the movies or in the extended ones, but I know in the book the orcs thought that Sam was like this big badass elf.
I think that might be an extended. I don't recall seeing the original thing.
Yeah, I never saw the extended because I'm like, I don't have time for.
They definitely focused a lot more on Marvel and DC than the other, the other comics.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of anime references. Like maybe a couple. Sheldon said something about a reference towards Pokemon. If you look closely, you see a cutout for Bleach in the comic book store. And they're sitting down watching an anime that was totally made up.
Oh.
Like I know technically all anime is made up. Like this anime was specifically made up for the show. Like they didn't get an actual anime.
Or like how they're playing the Warlords of Kaha. I'm like,
Yeah,
is that
other games you could work with?
Yeah.
But you said made up a game of your own, which kind of annoys me. I mean, yeah, it was a good show, funny, a lot of interesting cameos that were there. I kind of felt like they wasted Christopher Lloyd, honestly.
I like the one when James Earl Jones is on there. And you think that Sheldon is gonna get like arrested or something, but it goes a completely different way where he ends up partying with him. And then he gets tired of James Earl Jones.
Yeah, that I was not expecting. But back to the Xmen project. It's going to be about 15, 20 minutes per episode. And unlike Big Bang Theory, we're actually going to have a lot of references to a lot of different shows. Anime,
That's cool.
actual previous incarnations of comics. The guy that's absolutely doing Toad, Justin Evans, is an absolute genius with it. Have you ever seen Beast Wars?
Yes.
Okay, we're basically turning him into Waspinator. Half the time you bring Toad in is just so we can kill him off. It's like even if he has nothing to do with this show's script, he just goes there to die. So far in season 1, he's flattened by a Sentinel, uppercutted by Wolverine, blasted by Jubilee for sexual harassment, thrown to an electric fence because they need a way to short out the fence for the MRD heist. He was drowned in a riptide because Blob did a cannonball at the beach episode. He was hit by Rogue's car.
Oh, God.
Mauled by tigers at the circus. And I think that's pretty much it for season 1.
That sounds like it's funny as hell.
Yeah, half the time when I'm telling the people the script, I get a lot of positive reactions. Some of them don't understand the references, but a lot of them are, I don't want to say dated because that sounds a little borderline offensive, but if we're truly going for undateable X-Men, then we need to go for geeky references, and this is our target audience.
All right. Well, that's what they did with the new, I found with the new X-Men. I feel like they targeted towards our generation.
I kind of feel like they combined that. I mean, they made Morph non-binary, although to be fair, he's a shapeshifter. So I guess if you had to make any of the X-Men non-binary, that would make the most amount of sense. So here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Who's the better shapeshifter, Morph or Mystique?
I think Mystique.
Why?
I think she's just more powerful from what I recall, from what I've been reading and from what I heard. My reference to that is only based on the X-Men show. So
I say it's Morph because he can also copy the X gene, whereas Mystique can only copy the appearance. You remember episode 1 of X-Men 97?
Mm-hmm.
When they jettisoned from the plane, Morph transformed into Archangel and called Wolverine. If Mystique fell out of the plane, she could turn into Archangel, but her wings would be useless.
Huh.
But she is the better hand-to-hand combatant because Morph relies on his superpowers more than she does. So, short answer, it's Morph. Long answer, it's Mystique.
All right. From what I heard, Morph is also in the comics, but I'm not too familiar with.
He is, but they gave him a different name. Originally. Changeling, I believe it was. I was thinking it was Mimic, but Mimic was the guy that replicates the powers, but not the actual physical traits.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting concept, but it works.
Do you have a favorite X-Men episode?
Of the original series or?
The original series.
I thought Mojo Vision was kind of funny.
Yeah, that one was a good one.
We actually kind of based off the finale off that episode where he's trying to get new people. And on top of that, he actually gets some people from the Collector.
Mm-hmm.
We actually do have some MCU references where he also abducts both Howard the Duck and Cosmo the Space Dog as part of his streaming service.
Oh, God. You know, I wish they would have kept up with the. Have you ever heard of the show on YouTube called Marvel What the?
I've heard of it. I just wish we got a decent Planet Hulk movie. The closest thing we ever got to that for the MCU was Thor 3. And I got to tell you, that really pissed me off.
I like the animated one a whole lot better.
Let's call spade to spade. DC does anime a lot better. Like 3 of my favorite Batman are all animated. Well, portrayed an animated version of Batman. Conroy definitely being one of them, or the one. But where is I going with this?
Yeah, it seems like Marvel dropped the ball on that at the time, but DC has done amazing jobs with their stories. Like, I'm like, why am I watching a DC movie? The animated is so much better.
I mean, let's look at the DCAU. They've had so many talented people. Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Clancy Brown. Gilbert Gottfried actually had a couple of guest appearances in that. That was kind of funny.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he was Mr. Mixia-Spitalik.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
He was just there to piss off Superman. Not a fan of who they got for the that new series of Superman where he's young and Lois and Jimmy are black.
No, I haven't. I haven't kept up with any of the new stuff.
I think it's my neighbor. It's my neighbor's Superman or something.
Uh-huh.
I forgot the name of that. It's gonna annoy me, but yeah, I mean, I like the design. It's very puckish from Gargoyles. Have you ever seen it? But well, seen Gargoyles, not that.
Oh, I've seen Gargoyle. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Puck from Gargoyles.
Oh yes, I remember Puck.
Yeah, Brent Spiner, one of my favorite Jokers. Third, actually. The first two are Hamill and John DiMaggio. If I'm going to put an honorary mention, Tim Curry.
Oh yeah, because he was the first.
Well, not only that, but technically twice the first. He was going to be first for the Tim Burton films and for the DCAU.
Huh. Why didn't they do that?
Well, a lot of the times, casting, as someone who does casting, you like the idea of one person doing a role, but then ultimately you think another person is better suited. And there are some times where certain situations prevent a person.
Yeah.
Like, take, for example, Chris Farley was going to be the original Shrek, but due to his passing, we got Mike Myers, and there was a legal issue with Disney.
Yeah.
So for the second Aladdin film and the TV series, we got Dan Castellaneta as the genie, as opposed to repraising Robin Williams.
Yeah, I heard about it that Robin Williams was not happy with Disney.
Nah, considering how corporate and liberal Disney is getting, I don't necessarily blame him.
Yeah, something to do that he had an agreement about that he didn't want his character to be commercialized, and they did it.
I mean, it's Disney in the 90s. Of course they're going to commercialize it.
Yeah, but that was their agreement, and from what I heard, I don't know how true that is.
Well, that was the deal, but obviously Disney is Disney, and they broke that deal.
Just like they did with Star Wars.
And just like for legal reasons, they're not going to give frickin' Tezuko the acknowledgement that The Lion King is basically Kimba the White Lion.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I mean, you can obviously, people, if you're watching this live, definitely look it up. There are a lot of similarities just to be a quote unquote coincidence.
Yeah, that's totally not cool, taking other people's ideas.
I mean, Disney's been known for two things as far as their movies go:
Mm-hmm.
mythology and folklore, whether it's like Snow White, Hercules, Cinderella, movies based on books, The Jungle Book, Tarzan, The Great Mouse Detective, and others. Mm-hmm. But then there are times they do original work, but their original work doesn't always work. But the common theme is that those are the usual two. It's either folklore or literature. Excuse me.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to talk about your comic book series?
Well, let's see. Nothing that hasn't been already much, discovered, but do follow me on Facebook. Yep. That's Tyler Brook on Facebook, Tyler Brook 111 at Instagram, and I do not use TikTok because I don't believe in using it because I actually have standards. And if you want to use it, that's fine. Just don't try to add me on that because I do not have an account on it.
All right. Yeah, everyone has their preferences. I know a friend who didn't want to use Facebook. or friends that use only Instagram, and I'm like, I kind of go where I get the most views and likes. But now I try to put it on all the platforms. But I like BitChute, and I wish that they were on StreamYards, because I find that YouTube and all the others like to take down your videos.
Yeah, well, censorship.
Yeah.
If there's anything,
And the weirdest thing is that TikTok allows you to use music, but then they'll take it down. And I'm like, what the hell? I used your music on your platform.
well, it's copywriting. I actually don't know why they're not more thorough with their research, and that just annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you have it, but you don't want us to use it.
I miss the golden days of the internet, when we didn't have any of this stuff and people could put like anime music videos. I remember watching full movies on YouTube back in the day.
You still can. Some you have to pay for, and if you know the right website,
Yeah.
you can still watch all your latest anime and cartoons and whatnot.
Yeah. But I find it's not as easy. Like, I feel like a lot of the sites get taken down, and sometimes it takes a while for you to find it, but you can find it if you're, willing to.
Or at least internet savvy enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad, and I hate sounding like I'm pirating, but I'm glad for them, because I used it to research for some of the Xmen stuff, not just the Disney stuff, but some of the anime Marvel made, the Wolverine anime and the Xmen anime, which honestly, not bad. I mean, it's not as good as some of the other anime Japan has produced, but not bad.
You know what I feel that anime is like really ahead of its time, like their stories and stuff.
Well, statistically speaking, how many reboots of anime do you see? You see more continuations of anime than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I can count to 10, and I can count not be about as many reboots as they exist in anime. Or as you look in the West, there are countless reboots. Transformers reboots, Batman reboots, Scooby-Doo reboots, Superman, Spider-Man, the list goes on. So anime is definitely more inventive than than Western media is.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen the original '80s animated X-Men?
Yeah, what was that? The Kitty Pryde one?
Pride of the X-Men?
How was it? It was an interesting one. I saw it. Can't say I cared for it, but it was a lot better than the third X-Men movie.
Definitely. And do you remember the old X-Men arcade game? How terrible the voicing was.
Well, I mean, give that a break. It was just starting out.
I know, but it's like it was terrible, but it's like so iconic now.
Well, I mean, let's look at Beast Wars for a second, okay?
Yeah.
This was the era that 3D animation just started coming out. If it was made today, yeah, it would look like absolute shit. But that's why we got to acknowledge it for its time. It's like, okay, yeah, this is really good. So I think you just got to take. It's one of those things where you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Well, I'm just talking more of the dialogue was a little cheesy, but like it was like you said, part of the times.
I mean, who plays the video games for the dialogue? That's like watching porn for the plot. I mean, if you're not fighting people or monsters and you're just there for storyline, then go read a book. That's just my opinion on video games.
Yeah, I'm starting to find that a little bit annoying. Like I didn't mind cutscenes, but now there's like cutscenes while you're fighting, and I'm like, I just want to play the damn game.
I think this is just my perspective. They're just trying to diversify it so they can try to reach a more wide array of audiences. Like we have movies like the Godzilla movies, those Transformers movies, anything that doesn't necessarily have a human protagonist, and we always get humans getting more screen time. And we do that because we're trying to cater the people who are not necessarily quote unquote Transformers fans. So we're trying to get them into the fray. And the real spectrum of fandom can be tricky. For example, I've been auditioning people for quite some time for this project. One person, quote unquote, claimed to be a big Marvel fan. I'm like, that's great. It's nice seeing more people that are Marvel fans get it, be passionate about this project. So I asked him if he would like to audition for Toad. He said he was interested, and I gave him some lines. He read them, but he read them as Toad's voice, but not the Toad you're thinking of. Mario Toad.
Oh,
So I'm like, oh, okay, so you're an MCU fan. I mean, I get it, but don't call yourself a Marvel fan. Just say you like the Marvel movies. And that's the problem with many of the adaptations. Like, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate comments on this. Black Panther, not one of the best adaptations as far as Marvel goes. Like, if you look at the actual Black Panther movie, he was a badass. He was kicking the asses of Klansmen. Like, he was hardcore. He wasn't as pacifist Chadwick Boseman was. I mean, granted, Chadwick Boseman was talented and everything, but if you saw the Fantastic Four series, Keith David would have made a better Black Panther than Boseman would have. Did. But that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really good storylines with Black Panther. And have you seen the Avengers animated show?
Which one?
Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Yeah, I think they actually did have an episode with Mojo. Yeah, that was an interesting series. Around season 5, they changed animation. I hate when shows do that. American Dragon did that. It's like the first season, they had this animation. Then the second season, they totally changed it up.
Yeah. They changed the Avengers so many times. It's crazy.
I don't know. I mean, I guess subtle changes are okay within characters as long as you remain the core of who they are. Or if you're doing it for a parody thing, then okay, it's fine. It's a parody. No one really gives a shit. But if you're really trying to do a more serious adaptation on it, then you really got to question it. Like Hercules, for example. The Disney Hercules didn't even get the name right, for God's sakes. It's Heracles. That really shows you how much faith they had in their research project.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder about that and continuity. Sometimes if you're bored, you spend enough time looking at all the continuity errors in movies.
No, continuity is a bitch. I mean, for several years, we thought Nightcrawler's mom was Mystique. Turns out she's his dad, and Destiny is his mom.
Yeah, I hate when they change things all the time. There's always it's because that's what I like about anime is that it's always consistent. Like, how many weird power upgrades has Superman gotten? Like,
I mean,
in
Dragon
different
Ball's had
feats.
recons before.
Yeah,
But to be fair, Toriyama, rest in power,
yeah.
hasn't necessarily remembered all that stuff. So I think I can cut him some slack there. But by and large, I will agree with you. There's almost no retcons in anime and manga.
Yeah.
But then again, you're really comparing apples to oranges. Comics have been around much longer than manga has, and when manga tells a story, it just tells the one story. Whereas comics, they tell several variations of that story. It's like, okay, here's Xmen. Now here's Xmen if they were zoo animals, or here's Xmen if they were children, or here's Xmen, but here's old Logan facing off against She-Hulk and Hulk's weird children. And yes, that did happen in the comics, by the way. Look it up.
Well, anyways, we're almost out of time. Is there anything that you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, definitely catch out the series. I will announce on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to add hashtag UndateableXmen. That's spelled UNDateAble on all your social media platforms. But remember, stay geeky.
All right. All the links are in the description. You can check out Tyler's channel and definitely check out his project. Follow him on social media. And special thanks to our sponsors, JL Canabis. If you are in chronic pain like me and you're looking to alleviate that pain, he has everything from your needs, from growing and products to help you grow. And they do teach classes on how to grow. They're really great. They're located in Castleman, Ontario. It's about half an hour from Ottawa. Check them out. And thank you for our friendly neighborhood Tyler man for coming on. We'll definitely have you on again, especially when you're closer to launching, so we can get a lot of buzz for your project.
Oh, definitely. Thanks, man.
Yeah, and we'll just have you on for that one.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
All right, cool. Thanks for coming on. Love to have you on several other times. It's just been very chaotic lately, so thanks for coming on. This is 8-Bit Shinobi signing out.